You were asleep for a long time. I thought you were never gonna wake up.
Uh-oh. Looks like Mr. Sleepy Man has been woken up by some weird guy with no teeth. It's up to you to run around and figure out what you're even supposed to do in this game.
You're the kind of guy that likes to eat cereal off the floor, huh? That's cool.
For a guy who's sleeping all the time, Mr. Sleepy Man sure has a lot of energy. He jumps, he dives, he glides, and a bunch of other stuff that definitely aren't ideas ripped off from other video games. Now this wouldn't be a 3D platformer without its fair share of power-ups and collectibles. Or maybe it still would. It'd just be really boring. One of Mr. Sleepy Man's many superpowers is that he can never do anything wrong. You see, Mr. Sleepy Man is not in control of his actions. He's sleeping all the time. So legally speaking, Mr. Sleepy Man cannot be held accountable for any of the horrible crimes the player decides to do. It's up to you to figure out whether or not you want Mr. Sleepy Man to be a fun-loving, cool guy who makes a lot of friends, or a degenerate piece of garbage that doesn't know how to be a functional member of society. If Mr. Sleepy Man, I mean the player who's controlling Mr. Sleepy Man against his will, decides to do something that makes a person in this world unhappy, this sweet dream will slowly turn into a nightmare. And unless you're some kind of sicko that wants to see Mr. Sleepy Man suffer, that's bad. There's one thing in particular that makes Mr. Sleepy Man different than any other video game character out there. He refuses to murder people. That's right. Instead of taking part in the age-old video game tradition of brutally destroying every living obstacle in his way, Mr. Sleepy Man puts his foes to sleep instead. Mr. Sleepy Man might be the first murder-free 3D platformer to have ever existed. It's up to you to prove me wrong and post some obscure video game in the comments that nobody cares about. So when will I be able to play Mr. Sleepy Man? Most likely, never. You see, this game is currently being developed by one person. That means all of the artwork, 3D models, code, animation, music, everything is being done by the same guy, and it may or may not be driving this man legally insane.